Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the newly unsealed indictment in Manhattan, the Southern District of New York, United States of America versus Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. That's how it's officially styled. And you've probably, let me give you a headline in case you haven't heard it yet, which is the magistrate has denied a request by Sean Combs, which is the magistrate has denied a request by Combs for $50 million bail. He is being detained in jail and will stay there until the trial. Okay, this is, you can think a little bit about what we learned about RICO during the Donald Trump Fulton County case, in which, as Fonnie Willis there alleged, there are different activities that are kind of combined together, and the central allegation is that Combs was essentially doing a racketeering conspiracy, which is to say he was running an unlawful business. Think about the mafia, which RICO was designed to be able to get at. So you have activity that's been the subject of rumor for years that Combs has tried to portray as strictly voluntary, but as alleged is much more nasty, violent, overbearing, and connected with other crimes, so that the prosecutors in the Southern District of New York in Manhattan could allege what's really going on here is a business, an unlawful business. And the business is basically large sex orgies or activities in which the victims, being the women who participated in these events, were lured in, according to the indictment, with promises of different sorts of career promotions. They were plied with drugs. And a weird part of the allegations, there were all these what are identified as male sex workers there. So the groups of women would be brought in, according to the allegations, and engage in sex with these sex workers, while Combs just was the sort of impresario presiding over all this, filming it, reveling in it, masturbating while it happened. And, that's his sort of role, essentially bringing in all these folks. Now, he and his lawyers have already said, this is all voluntary activity, as opposed to what's been alleged, which is a series of crimes, including sex trafficking, also arson and blackmail. The events, the core events here, as alleged, were what Combs called freak-offs, and then he would direct and record these events and, among other things, use the threat of revealing the tapes to keep the victims quiet, would ply them with drugs, as I've said, or make false promises of career advancement. And so, you can see the force of RICO here. You can imagine allegations that he was doing all these things and he was doing them far from voluntarily, but packaging it together as a racketeering enterprise permits the feds to bring in all kinds of evidence, all kinds of victims. Now, Combs is a well-known, not to be a stranger to the law. He's had a series of allegations of private, in particular by former girlfriends or former associates, of essentially being completely presiding over a empire dedicated to these freak-offs and sexual kind of revels. That's what is really detailed in the indictment from the Southern District of New York. So physical abuse, allegations of striking, punching, dragging, and doing other physical violence to the women. This is the sort of thing, by the way, that the RICO allegations permit to be brought into the indictment. The basic organization of the indictment is to package it all as an enterprise. So members and associates of the Combs enterprise, they had engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, bringing in women who were then given different kinds of compensation, including drugs, coercion, enticement to engage in prostitution, that can be an offense, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and then obstruction of justice. They've got him repeatedly trying to talk to witnesses and make them not talk, say it was all voluntary and the like. So this is, you can analogize it to big cases against the mob where different things they did, drugs and gambling and prostitution, were all packaged together accurately and to meet the law that was passed to get at this, which is an overall enterprise. That's what they're alleging about Combs. All right, so that he's now in jail. Indictment is long, sprawling in terms of the different evidence. It will be at a minimum a circus and all kinds of really very damning acts and specific kinds of events that the defense, it looks pretty clear, will be, oh, this is just voluntary stuff. But given all the details in here, it's going to be a hard case for them to make. And as I say, while he awaits trial, he is in jail. So suddenly, Combs, who has, kind of been in trouble in the civil law and different ways in the law for years, is now looking at a complete fall of fortune. And a potential long federal sentence that begins today because he is jailed pending the trial here. And that's going to be a long time with a lot of pretrial litigation. As big stuff happens, we'll bring it to you. But I wanted to explain the basic notion here, which is to take these, very sort of scandalous allegations and package them as a criminal enterprise, which brings in all kinds of different things as the acts in furtherance of the enterprise. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.